Whether you're totally new to the technique or you're just looking for a refresher, everyone can use some tips and tricks on foundation paper piecing. If you want step-by-step instructions on how to foundation paper piece, check out our video, link in the description. My first tip starts before you even begin sewing. I like to mark the back of my pattern with what fabric goes where, and I like to mark ahead anytime I might be sewing off into the seam allowance. So on this pattern, I know that I've got my pink here, green here again, and purple over here. I also know that when I get to the stitch line with the rectangle, I want to sew off into the seam allowance, so that's a really strong seam. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that out now. Now I've created a point down here where I won't sew over that line, but whenever I get out to this far corner, I want to go ahead and sew out into that seam allowance to help strengthen it. Now I've totally mapped out for myself where I'll be sewing on this pattern. I want to cover really quick some really easy to make mistakes that I still make to this day when foundation paper piecing. One is that whenever you go to cut out your fabric, you underestimate how much you're going to need to cover your area. And I like to get around this by measuring ahead of time. I line it up, so I've got anywhere from 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch on either side. And then I just count up my inches, and I'm going to know exactly what size I need that to be, so I have lots of wiggle room. And then I can cut it out ahead of time. So there are a few mistakes you can make right off the bat that we can't really fix without just trying again. But that's okay. There's a bunch of mistakes we can fix. If in the trimming process you accidentally cut off some paper you weren't supposed to, that's okay. We can tape paper back together. And if you accidentally forget to trim the seam allowance, don't worry about it. You can get it when you take the paper off later. With these tips and a little bit of practice, you should be foundation paper piecing with confidence in no time. Thanks for watching.